Hello guys and welcome to a new Wargame video today by me Vulcan. Today I have for you a 4 versus 4 on Back to Inchon, and in this one we're going to be seeing some pretty interesting strategy going on. I am going to be using a US amphibious deck today, and you can pretty much guess from me saying that where I'm going to go, and if I haven't quite pointed it out, it's this big chunk of water on the left side of this map. We're going to be going straight across that and attacking towards Alpha, so that's going to be pretty cool. I haven't done an amphibious gameplay in a while, but I think the amphibious side of this game is really cool and really underutilized. I really do think that amphibious units, or units that can be amphibious, are incredibly strong on the right maps, and this is one in particular that can really take advantage of that with the large amounts of water and river and so on. If you get caught up on these bridges, you know, that does make your force considerably less maneuverable. So I'm going to be going with helicopters and units that can cross the water. So let's have a look at what we're placing down at the start of the game. We have plenty of twin Hueys. We've got some with the US Marines. We've got twin Hueys with man-pad squads as well. We've got Super Cobras. Now, Super Cobras are really important for this deck, and the reason for that is because they are the only anti-air helicopter that you can bring in. I don't think you can get your hands on the other type of anti-air helicopter that the Americans have. You might be able to, but I might be wrong. But I believe the Super Cobras are just better because of their super long range on their anti-air missiles. Now, they can actually fire them at aircraft over 3,000 meters away, which can get really annoying because they do tend to waste them firing that far. But when they've got 60% accuracy, they don't tend to miss very often. So that's one benefit of using them. Also, they do have a longer than average range against helicopters as well. So they come in handy when trying to take down that pesky Red 4 anti-air helicopters like the Z9A, TY90 and so on. In terms of my other units, I just have a few V150s and a couple of the 90mm versions. So on my team I have Baby 3334, Deja Vu and Toski, and on the enemy team we have Pony, Firestarter, Multiple Mare and Hermine Wesselby. So basically what we decided to do as a team, because I think 3 of us were on TeamSpeak together and we had a 4th join us. But basically Baby was going to be going to Delta, I believe. And then we had Deja Vu on the right side with Toski. And the idea of this map is really to hold your own sector in the center here, Echo and Golf. And over on this side, there can be some contention, but not normally very often. So anyway, as you can see, a MiG-25 BM coming in from the start by Multiple Mare. And he's going to manage to get a wonderful hit with his anti-radar missiles onto the enemy, but with the help of my Super Cobras and the Tansam short arrow there, we managed to actually shoot that down reasonably quickly. You can see that both of these Super Cobras already used up their infrared missiles, which is kind of annoying for my push because I'm going to have to delay it, but they did manage to secure that kill. So you can see the 60% accuracy there on those infrared missiles, 2,800 meters versus helicopters and 3,850 meters versus airplanes. Incredibly good infrared missile, the AIM-9M. Just so good. So good. It's a much longer range than the majority of any other helicopter anti-air. So as you can see anyway, my twin Hueys making their way round to the edge of the map here. I've brought up these 2 man-pad squads and dropped them off out of these twin Hueys to protect my side at Lima. Toski brought over his CV to capture this for me, and I'm going to be using my CV to try and get it round to Alpha and contest there. So let's switch this to my point of view now, and we can continue with my own thoughts and my own movements as we continue through the game. Now, to add to my units, you can see I've got these LAV-25 scouts. Really nice units because they are fast off-road and reasonably quick in the water. They also have the 25mm auto cannon, which is great for destroying enemy APCs and infantry that are left out in the open. We've got the V150s here with the Navy SEALs, and then the other one just behind it is the same APC but with the 90mm cannon on top, so that's really good. I've got a second one of those. And what I'm going to be doing is using my twin Hueys, the empty ones as well, in order to push across here. But you can see I have been spotted by the enemy, and they're already bringing over a KA-52 to start firing upon my twin Hueys, along with this Mi-25, which is using its 30mm autocannon. Now, of course, I have got the Super Cobras back up here, so we're going to be using the infrared missiles to shoot down the KA-52 there. I do have one left on this Super Cobra, so I try and bring that into range of the Mi-28. However, the Mi-28 is making a run for it, and I managed to land one of the 4 twin Hueys that moved across the water. So I managed to keep 2 squads of US Marines alive. This US Marine squad here was very, very lucky to survive the helicopter crash. Normally they wouldn't at all, but in this case I managed to somehow get that to remain alive, and now I'm just retreating the US Marine squad into the forest after the Mi-24V comes up here with its own Igla missiles. So I've got to retreat the Super Cobra because it's ran out of missiles. Su-24M there coming in to do a bombing run but didn't land the strike. My twin Hueys moving up to waste the missiles out of the Mi-24V. And they're also taking the attention of these helicopters so that I can move my APCs into position. So far, you're probably thinking this doesn't look like it's done too well. But then you've got to realize that they've just invested just as many points in order to stop this push thus far. And I've still got my Super Cobras, and they are going to continue coming back and push back this helicopter presence while my V150s move into position alongside the Scout there, and the Navy SEALs coming up in this V150. I've also got this AH-1J Cobra here. Really nice recon helicopter, comes with the 40mm frag grenade launcher with 38 Hydra rocket and 14 FFAR AT rockets. Just really good ground pound unit. Takes out infantry very, very quickly. Mainly what you use it for. Also good at stunning convoys. Now you can see the slow part of my push coming up afterwards. So all of these units are really fast. So you've got the V150s just much quicker over water, along with the LAV-25 Scout there, and then they're being followed up by the LVTPs that are a lot slower, but obviously have that amphibious capability, but they just carry much better troops. So that's what I'm bringing across here now. My AH-1W Super Cobras just holding the skies so that this push is possible, and I've got the AH-1J Cobra here in order to spot any helicopters heading back my way. And with a bit of respite, I am able to bring up a couple of twin Hueys with man-pad squads. And again, they're there to stop any helicopters from preventing this push and getting any further. So I've already got all 4 Super Cobras that I can bring in. And again, I'm going to reiterate that they are incredibly important for making this push work. And not only can they take out the aircraft because they have the 3,800 meters versus aircraft, but they also, have the super long range versus helicopters, and that is really what makes these helicopters good. The low ammo really sucks, which is why you need to have so many of them. But at the end of the day, their missiles just outclass anything that the Red 4 can bring in. The only units that you would really have trouble with this deck is like the Z9A TY90s, like I said before, just because they have so much more ammunition, and if a Super Cobra misses one of its missiles, then you're kind of doomed. Now here you can see a IL-150 comes in, actually doesn't hit anything, and they really, really suck for the rest of the game. I was trying to save my Super Cobras to fire at the helicopters as often as I could. However, because they are using recon themselves, they can see my Super Cobras moving up every time, and they constantly retreat, which doesn't allow me to get the kills. But I have managed to get my LVTP-7A1s over the water now, and that is a very, very good job so far. So bringing over CH-53 now, and that's planning to basically resupply this US Marine squad and make it actually effective again. Meanwhile, I've just got the rest of my units moving up. I've dropped out my CV at the back of this forest, and you're probably wondering, why have I dropped it out there? Well, it's just to keep it hidden and not in the Twin Huey in case the Twin Huey gets shot down and then I lose a command unit. So we're just hiding it back there, and I can always walk it around to Alpha should I need to. Anyway, more aircraft coming in. You can see almost Super Cobras using up all their missiles in order to take out one aircraft. Bombing strikes aren't very effective though. Didn't manage to wipe out much. The attack killed one of my APCs, but pretty much missed this V150 that got really lucky, and my LAV scouts already moved up here with the US Marines. But now my air cover's gone for a little while because the Super Cobras have used up all their infrared missiles to shoot down one of those bombers. So instead, I'm moving up with the Lad Stinger C squads in the open. And I'm having to be really careful with this V150, not to push it forwards and get it destroyed by an HGM from one of these helicopters. So got to make sure that the helicopters are pushed back before I make the push across. And meanwhile, on the right side, you can see that my team's actually doing really well. Pushing forwards, Deja Vu has made Hermine Weselby actually quit the game already from that extensive push on that side. We've got Gulf under our control, or at least we've neutralized it for now, which is giving us that +1 advantage. And it's mainly the main reason that this is working is not because of me specifically. Obviously, Deja Vu did a great job with this push. The use of territorials to really take the fire for his better unit. So you can see he's got this Gurkha's 90s here mixed in with territorials. Territorials are 5-point units which come in 5-point APCs, so 10 points for each sort of squad you bring in, and then they're covered by 30-point Gurkha 90 units, and that's what makes this push so strong, because the fire is being taken by the territorials that can still do damage with these heat rockets. And then the Gurkha's 90 come in with the Challenger 1 Mark II as support, and there isn't much they can do about it. So anyway, Lad Stinger C's squad's moving up on the left at the moment. I'm still being bombed to hell, and my Super Cobras are finally making their way back over. So the majority of my units are kind of stuck in this tree line for now, because I'm really wanting to secure some kills onto the helicopters before I move round towards Alpha. Now meanwhile, Baby is just having some long-range engagements from Delta to Charlie. Got the majority of his units in this forest here that's covering the approach of this bridge and this bridge here. And of course we have Deja Vu still making the push over on the right side. But now you can see as my Stinger C squads are moving up, they get taken out by these 2 T-55s, and that is massive. That was a huge loss for me. And now the Twin Hueys here, they're kind of being used as bait, are attracting the infrared missiles of the Mi-24Vs. But my Super Cobras come up here, get some massive kills. A KA going down there alongside an Mi-24. Just really, really good job by those 2 Super Cobras. Now, I did lose, of course, all of the Twin Hueys. Managed to get these Navy SEALs out of their V150 before that got destroyed. So they are going to get into this forest and provide me with a bit more information with that recon status. Now, the trouble is, I don't really have anything heavy enough to deal with a T-55 unless I get an infantry unit close. And at the moment, that's not going to happen unless I have the air support. So again, the IL-102 comes in, and unfortunately, the AH-1W Super Cobras don't have enough missiles to ever take them down unless they are as 4. Either way, I've got an FA-18C Hornet now. You can see this bad boy has 4 infrared Maverick missiles. Basically what they're supposed to do is take out these T-55s for me. All I've got to worry about in terms of AA really is the enemy helicopters, and we just shot down a couple of them that are going to be the issue. Making a run for it with my LVTPs across the open. Of course those are the T-55s here, but you can see these LVTPs can take a hit. 1 hit each, and as soon as the T-55s show themselves I can blow them up. But me being naive and thinking that there was only enemy AA in the form of helicopters, I was totally wrong. And they do indeed have some radar AA here that kind of makes my air attacks much less effective. Now, thinking that my push was going to succeed, my hopes were crushed by the 2 bombing strikes from the Il-102s. You can see that only 1 US Marine squad survived from that, because the V150 swiftly gets finished off by the Mi-24V, I think. But we have the LVTPs on the left here. They've come through with the enemy being unawares because this T-55 was actually killed. So I managed to get 2 LVTPs actually into the tree line with the full squads that come with those. Now my Navy SEALs are moving up, and I'm trying to run them underneath the KA-52s here in order to get the kills, and I actually turned off the machine gun for a second there so that they walked into a closer range before actually attacking the helicopters there. But because that helicopter had exceptional recon, it spotted the Navy SEALs before they could fire because I turned off the machine gun. So that was actually a bad move in the end. I obviously turned it back on as soon as I saw that, but they flew their helicopters away, so I couldn't actually get much damage onto them. But now I'm pretty much relying on this 1 Super Cobra at the moment, because I've sent the other 2 to resupply and I've actually forgotten about them for a little while. I did actually play this game while on stream on my Twitch channel, so there will be some points in the game in which I have a bit of lapse of judgment because I've been concentrating on the chat or something. But all excuses aside, you can see my US Marines are making some progress now, although this LVTP does get spotted and therefore almost gets my US Marines killed, but they managed to stay alive with 10 men still. And seeing that bombing strike come in and knowing that there will be more bombing strikes in the future, I decide to split up my other 2 US Marines so we can swing round to the back of Alpha and possibly get away with that later on. So Navy SEAL squad manages to stay alive against the Mi-24V. That was some COD 4 shit right there. But he's left on his own to run through the forest and give me some recon information. You can see the chaparral that I actually brought up there did get taken out. Some more of my anti-air is taken out. The Il-102's trying to kill off the last Navy SEAL, but he's running for his life. And now we have these T-55s moving across the open without any anti-air support, so I managed to take out both of them with this Super Cobra. It does of course have the TOW-2 missile system, 70% accuracy with the 25 AP power. Easy peasy gonna pop those T-55s. Unfortunately my US Marine squad does not survive because there is a couple left in the tree line that I cannot see because my LAV-25 scout doesn't get there quick enough in order to reveal them. So that's that. Anyway, US Marines still making their move around the forest here, and I'm pretty sure that the enemy assumes they've dealt with all that I've thrown at them so far. And the Il-102 is still coming in with their bombing strikes and totally missing now, as they do not have any recon information on any of this infantry moving around the back of Alpha. Now meanwhile on the right, a Deja Vu actually being pushed back slightly by the superior forces on Firestarter. Luzanduai and the Lijuan there are going to be very effective at cleaning up the territorials, and that's exactly what's happened. Now, this Challenger marksman's being used to be able to take out this Liege 1, but Firestarter's not going to let that happen. Firestarter being an extremely good player at this game. But now this LAV-25 scout's in a bit of trouble. Going to try and have a go at these helicopters here. And get the Super Cobra up to help out. You can see that the majority of my forces are actually, you know, up here in this forest at the moment. The LAV-25 is going to get bombed out by an IL-102, unfortunately. It's every unit I show basically gets bombed at this point. And you can see a second push now coming across with these LVTPs here and an M48A3 Chaparral, because the first one got destroyed. I probably shouldn't have moved it towards the edge of the forest in the first place, because that is one sure way of getting your anti-air killed. But we are now at a +2 advantage. This is all due to us owning Gulf at the moment and not being pushed all the way back. But I'm continuing my aggression on the left side, even though it is a completely futile attempt. More Chaparrals being brought up alongside these twin Hueys, and you can see that I actually have CH-53 there and 2 M35 cargoes. And the idea of having these is so that I can bring up units to the edge here, refuel them, and then send them across. Because if I brought in a Chaparral and tried to just drive it all the way over to here without refueling, then it would actually run out of fuel like halfway there, which is really, really bad, because there's no way that I can refuel that if it gets stuck in the middle of the water there, and then it's a sitting duck once it's run out of its infrared missiles. But the IL-102 is coming in again. I still have the Super Cobras here with the infrared missiles, and we're going to be trying to shoot down another aircraft. We managed to get an Su-24M that time, which is really good. And we kind of need to keep making Pony pay for his bombing strikes. These UH-1N twin Hueys bumping into a couple of Mi-24Vs, and they don't last very long. So it's all down to these US Marines now. You can see that they are getting into position to push into the back of Alpha. And the idea is that I will try my best in order to take out the CV to end the game. So I probably get shot down there because I'm trying to look for a radar AA. The Chaparral does an insane job at shooting down both Mi-24Vs before it gets killed itself, and that actually keeps the TACOM squad alive, so that's pretty awesome. You can see my US Marines now making a difference up here, bumping into a couple of BTR-70s, but continuing the push into the back of Alpha. And the reason I brought them all the way back round here is so that I can actually move from the forest directly into the town if I want to. More BTR-80s being moved up to help defend, but they're going to be taken out immediately by the US Marine 90s. And over here you can see an Allies supply chopper being blown up, sat in a very precarious position. So now when we come across T-55 AMVs that have been brought up to the edge of this forest to push me back. But that's too bad, because I've just gone and found their command unit in the back of Alpha, and the bombing strike's a little off target. I'm continuously chasing down the command unit here, and it is just making a run for it, and that is pretty much why Alpha is currently neutral. You can see the UAZ back here is just running away the best it can, and to not let the US Marines kill it. But what they don't realize is my LVTPs are sat at the back here, and with a few grenade launcher shots they stun the UAZ and kill it off to put us at a +4 advantage and help us win the game. So after all the attrition of walking through the bombing strikes, I eventually get some US Marines here. These LVTPs don't last very long after that. Vulcani was not very happy. The US Marine 90 squads are all that are left. This one squad of 9 men. And of course the hero Navy SEAL that sat here for the entire game just hiding in a bush. I think he had enough. Even more US Marines dying before the end of the game, and unfortunately Spetsnaz are going to finish off the heroes as the game comes to a close. So my job is done. I've taken out the CV in Alpha, and that's pretty much all I had to do in order to make my push worth it. And that just turned out to be the killing blow. After my teammates did a fine job here, you can see a bombing strike coming in onto multiple Meh T-72s, and the Chumat squads from Baby taking side shots there the whole time. Absolutely brilliant. I'm bringing in some intruders to land a huge bombing strike onto all those T-72s, and the idea is to kill as many as possible. And this is pretty much my final blow. T-72s survive, of course. T-72As unfortunately don't. And with me continuing to plow units through the left, that is the end of the game, and we win 750 points to the enemy's 6. So my kill death, as you can see, was not great throughout that game. Obviously, throwing units in and them just dying to bombing strikes is never going to give you a good score, but I was just so amazed how I managed to keep those US Marines alive and get them all the way around to the back of Alpha and actually end up killing the CV in Alpha. Like, those hero Marines had an absolute trek across those mountains, managed to get into the back of Alpha and just seriously mess up the defense that they had there, which was pretty much just BTRs. So yeah, just really lucky that the recon was a bit lacking on that back side, and that I managed to sneak a couple of units in there without them obviously seeing. Otherwise, that could have been a completely different story. We probably should have still won the game because my teammates were doing so well. But the point is, it was just such a fun game, and I really enjoyed playing it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it. The Hero Marines. There you go. For any US viewers, you can be proud of your men. They died with honor and helped us win the game. While the Brits slugged it out on the right, US Marines were going all special forces on the left with their Navy SEALs. So yeah, really, really fun. Great job by my teammates. You can see that we actually won with worse kill deaths than our opponents. So you'd think that maybe the Hermine Wesselby leaving might have actually caused them to lose, but I'm pretty sure Firestarter could have held his own anyway, because he is a very experienced player. You can see he is indeed a major. But yeah, overall, just a brilliant game. Super Cobras scoring some brilliant aircraft kills, which basically kept me in the game in terms of points, and also just attracting so many bombing strikes throughout the game really relieved the pressure of my teammates. So that's it for today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.